Hey everyone, Joe here again with another awesome cook. Today we're doing beer butt chickens with smoked corn on the cob, and I have some unique holders for these birds so they can feel cool while cooking hot. Let's hop right in. I wanted to do this cook to show how anyone can make amazing smoked chickens. This is my first time I've ever smoked beer butt chickens, and you'll be able to notice when I absolutely butcher them on carving them up at the end, but more on that later. So to start off, I got the birds out of their packages and wanted to get them as dry as I could before starting their oil massage. So I used some paper towels to get them prepped up, and then it was time to move on to some oil. This will help the seasoning stick to the birds. And for the first bird, I'm using one of my favorite seasonings, Plowboy's Yardbird Rub. This stuff is seriously amazing. Once you get the bird all coated, you get your beverage of choice. For this bird, I was using some Busch Light, and you want the can somewhere between 50 to 75% full. So pour it out or drink it down, and then place it in the holder and set the rider on his bike. One tip for this holder is to make sure your bird is centered up good. You'll notice this one is leaning, and that will play into the cook later. You also really want to get these wings pinched into the handlebars so they don't fall out. As for the shades that came with the holders, I went ahead and bent mine inward so they'd stay on the birds for the whole ride. For this next bird, I use another amazing seasoning, Meat Church's Holy Gospel Rub. Same process as before, coat it down really good, and then get the bird on his bike. For this holder, I'm using a Marshall Brewing Sundown Wheat. You really can't tell a difference on which beer you use, it just helps to keep the birds moist. And if you like these holders, check the link in the description on where to buy them. And if you're liking these videos, please consider hitting that subscribe button, liking the video, and sharing it. It'd really help me out. Now that these two cool birds are prepped up, they're ready for the ride of their life in the Chargriller 980. Now I'm just going to get these birds on the smoker and take a quick break to tell you about this awesome YouTube barbecue competition I'm going to be competing in next month. The competition is being hosted by Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue, and he brought together a bunch of small barbecue YouTube channels to compete. The first round is on July 7th, and I'm going against Drunken Chef. I've linked Smokin' Joe's and Drunken Chef's channels below. Please check them out and subscribe so you won't miss the upcoming competition. I also linked the other competitors so you can check out the whole lineup. I'd love for you to vote for me on July 7th, but may the best video win. And now back to the cook. A super simple side I love making in the smoker is corn on the cob. I like to use my little cast iron skillet and load it full of butter and Cosmos SPNG to use as a baste for the corn. So get all your butter sliced up, add an SPNG, and then set it aside. For the corn, I like to get it out of its packaging, wash it down, and then oil it up. After thoroughly rubbing down the corn, I like to give it a little SPNG as a base coat. Now the corn isn't going to take as long to cook as the chickens, so I leave it off the smoker. But I do put the butter mixture in early to let it get melted and smoky. Once I was about 45 minutes out from pulling the chicken, I added the corn. You can tell the butter mixture is melted down nicely and it is ready for basting onto the cob. You want to let it cook for about 30 minutes and then rotate the corn and baste the other side. You'll notice as I'm probing these birds the corn is gone. I pulled it earlier because I didn't want to overcook them. But seeing how the chicken was already around 162 and I was shooting for a 165 to 170, I cranked the heat up to try and crisp up the skin a little and put the corn back on to warm them before pulling it all off. Now listen to that sizzle. Like I said earlier, you really want to make sure the birds are sitting level because as you can see, the first bird looks like he's about to take a corner on a street bike race and is really leaning into it. I was hoping for a more relaxed mountain road Harley cruise look, but either way these birds didn't crash their bikes and they turned out amazing. I also mentioned earlier that I am no chicken pro. This is the first time I've ever smoked a whole chicken. They turned out amazing, but my carving skills leave a lot to be desired. As I was hacking away at these birds, I realized the knife I was using was terrible for this and eventually switched to a better knife. I really wanted a leg and a breast from each bird to compare, but I want to show you guys that you don't have to be a professional chef to make some amazing backyard food. It doesn't matter how butchered you make these at the end, as long as the taste is great. After finally getting my first breast off, I can tell you these birds were juicy, and they had a ton of flavor in those skins. Next time I may try to stuff the skins with some seasonings to try and add more flavor. But I couldn't help myself and I had to try a piece of each breast right after I got them sliced. And for me personally, I think the Yardbird rub from Plowboys took the W with this cook-off. The flavor is just outstanding on these birds, which makes sense because this rub was made for chickens. Now the Meat Church wasn't no slouch though. It was still very good, but the Plowboys just took it to another level. As for the side, the smoked corn on the cob with SP&G is always a winner. You get a nice smoky flavor and that salt, pepper, garlic, butter mixture just makes them top notch. For an easy side, it's a must try and you won't be disappointed. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Remember, you can make amazing smoked meats also. Just get out there and get to cooking. Please subscribe if you haven't and make sure to watch out for July 7th when the BBQ Pitmasters of YouTube competition kicks off. Have a good one.